Hello everyone and welcome back to the Bookmark. My name is Kayla and today we're going to be doing a series review. So kind of like a book review, but now we're doing a whole series. And we are doing a series review on, oh my gosh, can I get all these books? Oh my gosh, the Heartstopper series. So I have, it's actually 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the books that are out so far, like in this like physical book form. The series is, well, it's, so I call them books, but they actually are graphic novels. So Alice Osman, who is the author, she's also the illustrator. She is, so these come out like graphic novels. They are pretty easy to get through. That's why we're kind of doing a whole series review rather than like per book. Some books cover more like time period than others. Like the first book covers way more as far as time goes than the second book does. So we're doing the whole series review. Now, these books got really popular because of the Netflix adaptation that is available now. That Netflix adaptation actually got greenlit for 2 more seasons, so that's really exciting to see. So the Netflix series right now, what season 1 has, is pretty much what covers books like volume 1 and 2. So if you want to watch the series on Netflix, but you do want to read the books first, I would say get 1 and 2 and you'll be pretty much set for what happens in the Netflix series. 3 and 4, highly recommend. They are some of my favorites. I think, can't say which one for sure, but it's definitely a tiebreaker between 3 and 4 as some of my favorite books. I kind of want to say 4 is probably my favorite book in this series so far. The reason I say so far is because I'm not too sure if it's still going to be set to come out later this year in 2022, which is when this video is being filmed. But volume 5 or book 5 comes out later this year. Since the Netflix show got greenlit for 2 more seasons, and Alice Osman is the one who kind of helps out with the screenplay for that. Not too sure if that's gonna still stay with the same deadline, but hopefully, because these books are amazing. However, if you cannot get these books, Alice Osman actually started the series on like a online graphic novel kind of format. So right now you can find it on tapas and on, it's an app called Webtoon, there you go, Webtoon Comics. I know Webtoon is an app. I'm not too sure about Tapas if that's an app, but we'll link both of them down in the description below. You can kind of find all 4 of these books on there for free. However, of course, Alice Osman is amazing, so be sure to like check out her social medias and like ways to support her. But on there's actually part of, I want to say it's going to be the first part of volume 5 on there. There's not much because since the announcement of the next 2 seasons for Netflix, she kind of had to take a hiatus to work on that. But what I'm seeing so far on there for volume 5 is pretty good. From where volume 4 leaves off from, it's like a pretty good step forward. I'm really hoping that what she has like ended up to right now, up to her like her hiatus for the time being. I'm really hoping that that's not all of volume 5 because I need more. I need more of the story. But yeah, these books are amazing. Of course, it follows the story of Charlie and Nick. So it does have, what's pretty cool about these books actually is that it's not just that it's not like these two, the main characters, it's not like they're the only like talked about like queer couple involved. They're actually like teenage years, and what we're kind of seeing is that these, throughout the 4 novels, that there's a lot of like queer couple relationships that are forming all over. So it's not just them. They're not just like the only ones in this like huge world of like heterosexual relationships around them. There is a lot of other types of relationships going on. What's pretty cool is that it's not like a idealistic world either. There are definitely like where Nick has to kind of overcome kind of his feelings of it being shameful that he is bisexual. But so that's pretty cool. Is like so with Charlie is already coming into the first novel. He's already come out. Oh, well, he was forced out. That's the sad thing. But he was forced out as being gay. So we already know about his sexuality. It's more that we're now trying to figure out what Nick's sexuality is. And that's kind of what the first and second books are. By the third and fourth book, he's kind of already like firmly into like what his sexuality is. Now we're kind of seeing Nick go into when he's trying to tell his family. And his mom is like really supportive, but then he does kind of get some backlash from like his brother, and then because he has an older brother, which is not really highlighted in the show actually, but we kind of see where there is like a society that does accept him. You know, Charlie's friends accept him, but his like rugby friends, well, some of them actually don't end up accepting him, and they're actually bullies to Charlie. And what I like is that even though it seems that Charlie's supposed to be like the obvious main character, there's definitely like a huge character arc for Nick throughout these books, and like a lot of maturity going on with Nick throughout the entire time. Not that Nick was ever like, I think people who have read this can agree with me that Nick was never like an immature person. He was very mature in his response to everything that's going on in the books, especially like the homophobia that Charlie experiences. But by book 3 and book 4, he is like, he's grown into himself, and that's the really cool part about these books, that you're seeing the characters kind of grow into themselves. Now they do focus a lot on Nick and Charlie, obviously, but what's pretty cool is that something that's not really highlighted in the show. So if you've seen the show but you haven't read the books, what's pretty cool is that maybe I'm gonna say that by about the second book, so the first book really is firmly about just Nick and Charlie, and that's it. By about the second book, going mostly into like the third and fourth book, we start to see more of mostly it's Charlie's friend group, but then some of Nick's friend group starts coming in as well. So we're starting to see more and more friends, and that's when we start seeing like the different types of relationships that are involved. Like it seems pretty cool that like it doesn't seem like they're just the only ones in the void. There's others that have helped them out, and not only like adults who help them out, but like kids that are same age, or maybe like a year or two older. My gosh, I can't speak. But about a year or two older that are like had experienced the same things that they're going through, and kind of helping them navigate like their relationship, as far as like how homophobia comes into play, is like how to navigate through that and like still want to be with each other. So that's pretty cool. I will say that the first and second books are more lighthearted. They're the more like playful books. When it gets to the third and fourth books, those start introducing topics that are a little bit more heavy. It starts introducing kind of like it starts going like slightly into transphobia because of one of the characters that's involved in there. And it also talks about an eating disorder. So if those are kind of like trigger points for you, maybe just stick with the lighthearted books, the first and second books for now. And then it seems that, so I don't want to give away too much because this is like a big premise of the third book, because it kind of like hints at this eating disorder, but you don't find out who or how it's manifesting into itself until the very end. But I will say that it seems that in the fourth book there is an uptick from like kind of like the heavier topics. What's pretty cool is that it's not like just like wrap the bow and happily ever after type of thing. I like that we're able to see like the pitfalls and the upsides of their relationship even at a young age. It's important to remember that they're really young. They're like, what, I think by the end of the fourth book, Charlie just turned 16. So like they're really young, and that's, I like that Alice Osman doesn't like age them up. Like their actions aren't like so grown up that you're just like, this is no way, there's no way that kids are doing it at this age, or they're doing this at that age, or whatever. It's just, you know, they're kind of just themselves, and that's what I really like about these books. But yeah, I do recommend these. Of course, they're really easy to get through. Each book, I believe, is about $15 or so. So I know that my apprehension when I was looking at these books like months ago was that I was like, I need to buy the full set. Because I'm going to read through these in like a whole day, and that's literally what I did. I sat down, was like, I'm only going to read through the first book today, and then I'm going to do a book a day or so. And then I like sat down and I was there for like 5 hours reading the whole everything. I say 5 hours because at one point I like, was it, I think no, it was this book, the fourth book, the last one. I like read it and then I liked it and then I reread it like in the same sitting. So yeah, they're super easy to get through. They're like really fun. These two, of course, are more fun than the topics that happen in the last two that are published so far. But I say give them a try if like the stuff that they're talking about doesn't really trigger you. I will say that if you're kind of apprehensive of whether or not the topics that are talked about are gonna be like a little too heavy for you, I would recommend go looking at the web comics or Webtoon comics or tapas page for Alice Osman. You can just put in their search engines on that page and just put Heartstopper. That's what they're called on there anyways. Let me see. Volume 3. So they kind of have like chapters kind of ish. And if you're kind of wanting to see if you will like or can if it's like a good kind of like, if the topic is not too deep for you and it's not too triggering for you, you can start at 4. I believe Alice Osman has them like all labeled, so you know like what like chapter, which like labeled, it's basically labeled like this. But yes, so if volume 3 kind of starts at 4, then you can go on, and then at least on there, if there's a story you don't like, since they're all cut up in little segments, you can just skip each part of the story that you're not comfortable with, and then see whether or not you actually want to pick up the full book after going through that. And of course, the fourth book, it kind of pretty much talks about an eating disorder that almost the entire time. So, and also about mental health and all of that. So again, let's see, what chapter, or what is it called? I call them chapters, but I don't know if that's the correct term to use for graphic novels. But this one starts at 5. So if you wanted to see if this book is good for you, check those out first online and then go and buy them if you feel like you're up to it. But yeah, I would recommend these definitely. Of course, like I said, 3 and 4, you need to go with a little bit more of caution. But 1 and 2 is very much lighthearted, and it does, like, it's a lot more lighthearted than the last 2 books. And I will definitely say that I'm very excited for not only the Netflix series, but for the next novel that Alice Osman is going to be like compiling, which would be volume 5. I have not read the short stories or the novellas, I believe that's what they're called. Like kind of like the other stories that she has. One is about Tori, which is Charlie's sister, and then the other one is like, I believe the title is called Nick and Charlie, and it's when they're like a little bit older and they're about to go to college. I haven't read those because they got so popular. Every time I try to find like a copy, I put it in my cart to go, and I'm looking for like other books to put in there, and then it like gets sold out. So that is my issue right now with those, but I'm really hoping that I can read those and then I will come back to a book review, because I'm sure that some of you are kind of wondering if you really should read them to understand the fuller story, or if you can just stick with the graphic novels and be fine, because those other books, novellas, are pretty much like, I guess, like a regular book. Like, they're just words. It's not really too many pictures in them. But yeah, that's all we have for today. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and well, actually subscribe here too. On our Instagram, we post pretty much daily stuff, kind of like putting what books we're reading at the time, and possibly like some hints of what's going to be uploaded for the week. But yeah, well, I'll see you all next week. Bye.